Hey guys, welcome once again. This is Uyegas, your host. We're in a design series of designing a logo and identity design for a company. So if you haven't seen the first video, this is the part 2. I'll just put a link in the description and also on a card. So you can click ahead and go see the first video of how we got to where we are now. So as you can see, there was a contest on Instagram to choose what logo I'll be designing. And this logo over here came out tops. And so that's what we are going to be focusing on designing in this series. So stay tuned. We'll see you soon. So let's go ahead and let me show you how I was able to recreate something like this. So it requires you using your polygonal lasso tool. I'm using my polygonal lasso tool because I saw that everything I might be using this for, that's in the original design, was basically going to be for a very few graphics elements like flyers, banners, and the rest. And polygonal lasso tool can actually give you some decent results. So I use that. But otherwise, I would advise you use a pen tool so you can get those incredible zoom levels. Like you really want to get those zoom levels. So I can actually go to parts and create a new part. So that creates a new part. This is, you see, my part is still there from the original one I did earlier. So I can create a new part and just draw. Remember I said I got something similar from Free Pick, so the link will be in the description to get something like that. So I'm just gonna draw this shape, something like this, and we'll close it up. So that's a part. So we can create another new part, still from the same point. So since this is gonna be behind, I can be a little bit more rusty. Let's take this here and then take this here. So we have 2. So remaining this, we're gonna take this. Remember, we can always edit this later, so you don't have to, though you have to take care, you don't have to take all the care in the world. So that's there, that's here. We can always apply a mask to hide our inefficiencies or, okay, so that looks lovely here. So that's another part. So I'm going to create another part, yet another part. And we have this. So this is going to be behind. I can be a little bit more rusty here. And then here. So you can draw any shape you want. I'm just deciding to use triangles. So now we have our 4 parts all created. And this looks good. So I'm just going to go ahead and select each part using my part selection tool. And so I'm selecting this part. What you want to do is go to your part selection tool and you want to right click on it. You can decide to also make your custom shape, define custom shapes and the likes. You can choose to make selection, but if you define custom, you see how that custom shape panel is going to get full so quickly, and you might not start getting lost trying to remember where it is. So let's just do a make selection. So now you see feather radius, I don't want any feather, so I click OK, 0 feather. I go to my layers and create a new layer, and then I can fill this with any color. So let's just use this green for now. Okay, so we're going to fill. We'll just click to fill. It's on the foreground. To fill the foreground color, you use alternate delete. To fill the background color, you use command delete. So alternate delete is what we want for the foreground color. So we've selected that. So that's how we're going to do that for the 4 parts. So we're going to select this part again, deselect, command D to deselect. So we have this new part selected, our part 3. So you can click on it to make sure you're selected on that part. So you right click and do make selection again, and then click OK. We don't want any feather. The feather is going to blur the edges, so we don't want the edges. We want it to look very sharp. So we'll go back to layers again, create a new layer. After creating a new layer, you do your alternate delete to fill, so it fills the layer. Don't mind they are the same color. We are going to change all that very soon. So parts, we go back to part 2. You go to your selection tool, Command D to deselect, and you're selecting your part 2 now. So you can click on the part, right click on it, and then click make selection once again. 0, layers, new, alternate delete. So quite boring, quite repetitive, but it will pay in the end. So I'm seeing some space over there, so we'll need to cover that using some transform. So we'll go back to parts once again, select part 1, and we want it to be selected here. So right click, we do make selection. Once again, feather radius 0, and go back to layer, create a new layer, and do alternate delete. So we're just going to zoom in a bit, zoom in, so let's see what exactly we have, so we can cover all these inefficiencies in it. So sorry, go back to your pick tool. To go straight to your pick tool without going anywhere, just press V. V will take you straight to your pick tool. So I want to do some micro adjustments, very tiny little. I'm using my arrow tools to move this. You see it's being moved even as we are doing all that. So I want to use that to move it and just get that perfect cover. So right about there, we have something really nice that we can work with. So this we are going to take it down a bit. So let's see what is happening at the top. Obviously, we know it's going to affect the top. So there you have that. Something similar. You want to be more careful if you want to recreate something so you have exactly the same result. So I'm gonna take this down and see what it does. So it's creating an opening somewhere else. So we can close that opening and select this guy, take it in a bit so it all lines up properly. So I'm taking it up, kind of. I'm sure you can see that. Taking it up, and I'm satisfied, I would say, from what we have. Basically a closed shape, and basically what we want. So for each of these, we are going to be applying a gradient. So I don't want to be too careful here. I just want to do something really quick. So let's go something really organic green. So that's one. Can go somewhere here and do something, another kind of green, another shade. Okay, that's very similar. So let's go something brighter. And then click OK. So you can just do OK here, and to give it a nice effect, you can just do reflected. So you see it has this reflective feel to it. But if you don't want to do that, you can continue staying at linear, so you have more control. You can create another spot just by clicking under this strip. So you click on color, obviously, to change the color of that. And then you can give it some color if you want. So I can do something like this. Click here first to get what color is here. Sorry. Okay, because we haven't pressed OK, so we still don't have that available. Please always remember that. I don't know why I tend to always forget that. So I'm liking something like this. Something like this looks good. I can just go and fine tune this by making this a little bit upwards. So let's say somewhere here. Somewhere here looks good. So something like that. It's one. You click OK. Okay, so that's there. So I'm gonna minimize this so we are not using too much space. The same thing. You go for gradient overlay once more for the next guy, and let's just apply the same. Maybe we change this one the angle a bit. So let's say 30. Just change the angle a bit. You can just type it in. Come on, minus 30, and enter. That's applied. So we go ahead. The next shape, gradient overlay. You can do this at you see it's not looking all that good at minus 30, so something like just almost 0 degrees. Let's see what it does. Okay, I still don't like that, so let's say 90 degrees. What that does for us. So 90 degrees is not looking so bad. So I like that. Click OK. And then finally for the last, I'm just gonna do another gradient overlay. We don't want to keep it at 90, so everything don't look all same. So you can take it the other way, and lovely. So we have basically our basic form, and let's undo this. Let's remove this and see. Let's work on our shape. So remember, we can you see what we have before, and see what we have here. So it's quite different and fast. You need a whole lot of control to get that. I'm just trying to do this so that this video will not be too long. You can do all the fine tuning you want for yourself. So you see, in the original we have shadows working for us. So we are going to bring in those shadows. We're going to bring in those shadows. So let's go ahead and click shadow. Photoshop doesn't have the best shadow, I would say. There are plugins you can use to get better shadows. So more on that later. You see, that's that. Okay, so let's be very, very careful when we're adding a shadow to. We need a shadow on this, and we need a shadow on this. That's basically it. So let's undo this one. So this is behind where it should be. This is also behind where it should be. So this all looks good. Everything is properly arranged. Make sure you have your arrangement all set up. So now we need a shadow from this guy. So we're gonna go ahead and do a shadow, drop shadow, and just clicking it, and you see there's this effect that is already lovely that we love. So you can increase spreads. You don't want to do it too much. You want to make it look as natural as you can too. So all these ones that are coming over to this side, we'll work on them. I'll show you how to do that real soon. So there you have that. I think I'm already liking what I see. I'm just gonna, you can see my settings, you can copy it, you can increase the opacity if you want. So that doesn't hurt. So opacity of 55, angle at 90 degrees, distance is 67, spread is 18, size is 250. So also this depends on the size of your workspace. Remember, it's always going to depend on that. If you're using a smaller workspace, your values are going to be smaller, I think. So let's click OK. So we have that one shadow applied. So we're going to apply another shadow on this top guy. So we're just going to click drop shadow, and it's giving us this effect that I like. So I just want to change the angle a bit, something like here. Yes, looks good. I'm going to take the distance in a bit so it doesn't go too far, and then the spread, just give it that spread, and then let's increase the opacity because the distance was reduced. That looks good. So I'm going to click okay. So something I need to mention, let's select this guy once again. So we are going to go to drop shadow. Want to uncheck global light. So everything is not following the same direction. That global light is causing an effect I don't like. So uncheck global light, use global light. Global light means it's going to make all your shadows follow the same direction. So we don't want that effect here. So I'm going to go back and click on this so we can create our drop shadow now. And you see it's not affecting it as much as it did before. So you want to get that all right for yourself. So opacity, we increased. We also did an angle shift. So this was the angle we worked with, something around 180. You can leave that around there. So you want to get the distance. See what the distance can do. It takes it away and far away from the image. Okay, let's reduce the size so you see what is happening with distance. You see, and then it can easily go to infinity. So that's what you want. So I always like increasing my size so I get that very blurry shadow. It can depend. You can look for a sharper shadow. Like this sharper shadow is even working here even more perfectly than I expected. So a little bit of depth for that spread. So okay, I'm gonna okay in that. So I'm gonna put another shadow on this so it casts a shadow on these two guys. So let's do a shadow on this guy. Drop shadow, and we are gonna cancel this. Let's go back to the former one and make sure we are not selecting global light. So you see it's saying use global light, so we click that. It shouldn't use global light. We don't want you to use global light. And click OK. So I'm going to bring these two layers on top of this. Good. So obviously they are supposed to be on top of these two guys. So this is the topmost layer. This is the other layer. So I'm going to apply a shadow on this layer. Drop shadow. We are going to check the global light too. And let's do increase the opacity. Let's take the size down. Let's change the angle. Yes, that's the angle I'm looking for, around 180. So definitely we are going to need to reduce the size so it blurs it more. And let's give it a spread so you see the effect more. Can reduce the size. So I like that. That looks very realistic and has this feel to it. So I'm just going to click OK. So we have all the shadows working for us. So I'm going to just put this in a group them all, and then you can merge it if you want, but I don't want to do that yet. Command Z, I'm going to undo that. So you can select everything and you can select everything, group it, and then make a new layer. I'm going to hide this former layer, and then look what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and merge this layer together, merge group. The shortcut for that is Command E or Control E. So merge group, that's become, everything is just there. So it's, now I can trim off the shadows that are bleeding out that I don't like. Look at the original one. You can see there's no shadow bleeding out to this white. There's no shadow. Obviously, you can't see a shadow on black. So let's go ahead and remove those excess shadows. So what I like using for this, I can just use my quick selection tool and select my, make sure it's a small brush. So you see it has selected almost the whole shape. So there you have it. I've selected everything. So I'm just going to use this to create a mask. And voila, I almost have no shadow. So I'm going to deselect and see what I'm having here. So there is still some elements of shadowing. So I can use a brush, my brush tool, and then I can paint black over that. So I want to use a hard brush. So I'm going to undo that. A very hard brush, not so big too. So you see, how that can be. So you can decide to go all the way, or you can just keep the shadow effects, and obviously it will look good. So I don't know how careful you are going to be with this, but what you can do is also use your magic wand to select as much as you can. So I'm going to zoom this down, increase this a whole lot, and then paint across the edges. So you see there's a whole lot going on here. I'm not saying this is the most efficient method, but it's definitely one that can work. So you might have your own method if you already know how to use Photoshop. So I'm going to use Magic Wand to select all of these that I basically do not want. So you see it selected that very easily. And then I'm going to go ahead and just paint it. Remember, we are still in our layer mask. Our layer mask is still selected. If I select another color, you see the colors change. So I'm going to select my layer mask. And I want it to be at black. I'm going to press alternate delete. So you see how that works very fine. So deselect, we have a lovely shape. So alternate delete just painted that black over those layers. You now ask yourself, why are we not seeing the black? Remember, it's a layer mask. Black makes it transparent, while white keeps what you have. So if I paint black over this thing, let me show you what is behind. So let's say this guy is behind, this logo is behind. If I paint black over this, I'm going to use my brush tool to paint black. You see, it will give me a see-through. We are on black color. It's giving me a see-through. You see, I'm seeing what is behind the image. That's basically why we are painting black, so that we can see through or see behind. So I'm going to undo that. We don't want that. I'm going to click this. So you wonder the color is looking too dark, it's looking this. Obviously, we can all edit that. So I can apply this layer mask. I'm going to apply it. Apply the layer mask. So I'm going to go over to image adjustments. We can do some tweaking here. So I'm going to go to hue and saturation. Give it some lightness. You see how that lightness makes it look good, like real good. You can give it some saturation. And come on, we're already there. What else could you ask for? I know the shadows are more blended here. This took me a whole lot of time to achieve. So obviously you won't get the same effect in a very short time. So you need to play a lot, just play a lot. Remember, that's why I didn't delete the initial layer. I kept it. So you can always go back there and do your edits, edit your shadows, make your shadows as good as you want. Then you come back and repeat this too. So we have that all set up. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this. So let's bring out our logo back. So we're going to take the logo to transform. Just take it somewhere around here. So let's center it. Okay, that's not very centered. You can see because there is a... Okay, it's basically centered because this is the height and this is the lowest point. So let's put this guy here, just where it should be. And then we are going to use our rectangle tool once again. Rectangle tool, and we're going to draw a rectangle. Don't care about the size. We can always edit the size later. So we can just save ourselves stress by making it something like this, because that's basically where we want the black to follow. So we're going to color and take this behind this layer. It's supposed to be behind. So we're going to give it a black color. So it looks very unrefined. So we're going to refine it. So Command T, transform. I want to take it to the same level as this. I want to take it to the same level as this. So there you almost have it. Almost, I said. So I'm going to take this guy down a bit. So the green looks like it's just exactly at the edge. Lovely. So that's that. And then I'm going to edit this again, Command T. take it up. So you don't want to take it so much. So Photoshop can be very, very frustrating with their guides, um, of which we can neglect them, or you can zoom in more till you get that perfect position. But you don't want to be wasting time too much on this still. So I'll just let it be inside a bit. So command minus, not the most refined results, but definitely we are getting somewhere. So we're gonna use our lasso tool, and we are just gonna draw basically a shape to hide this part that is bleeding out. So after clicking that, you can click mask. So it's now only showing that part, you see. So what you can do is press Command I or Control I to invert. So it inverts. There you have your black on the other side. So the other side is not showing. So that's a very, very useful feature. So the remaining thing that we are going to press type now is the future is green. The future. Okay, so we can just edit that, reduce it, reduce the sorry, this is not what I want to reduce. I'm going to put this on auto. We're going to reduce this. This is 1000, so take it to like 20. Let's see. So let's use Kibel. The future is green. The future is green. So that looks lovely. Let's go back and see. So that's what we have. The future is green. So I think it's even the same font, which is a good thing. So I'm going to rotate this, but before I rotate this, I'm going to reduce this closeness to like -20. So they are a little bit more closer. Sorry, select your text first before reducing. So -20, yes, much more closer. And then increase the size to from 20, let's say a good old 24. Yes, 24 looks good. Command T. I'm going to rotate this. You know, I'm pressing Command T to transform. Let me just show you the process. So in case you are just seeing it for the first time. After pressing Command T, you go to, if I come inside, you see it's not the right shape. If I come outside, it becomes like a curved arrow. So you can use it to rotate. You hold and rotate. So to keep it straight, I'm holding down Shift, so it rotates at special angles and then it locks in at 90 degrees. Or you can just go ahead and type 90 degrees out there, -90 or 90. So it's actually at -90 now. So we want to bring this in here. So that's a little bit too big. So we can always reduce that. 21 looks good. I like 21. So I'm going to select it. We could have done this right before, like we moved it here. So I'm going to give this white. And then the green is going to be very green. So we can pick a green from here. That's, I'll pick this green. Yes, that pops more. So I like that green. So that looks okay. So there you have it. Lovely. So you want to think about how am I going to export this? Am I going to export this with the whites? So what you can do is definitely maybe hide the background layer. You have a transparent thing and export this as a PNG. So anywhere you put it, you have this transparent background to it. Or you can just obviously draw another rectangle. Even instead of drawing another rectangle, let's just use what we have before. We'll select this rectangle, duplicate it, and then delete the layer mask for now. Or let's leave the layer mask. So we're gonna command transform that and extend it. So this is why I said we should actually delete the layer mask, because I know that's funny what's gonna happen. So let's just delete layer mask, delete layer mask. I'm gonna transform this way. So we want to close in this gap. So that looks good. We're just gonna take it behind this, make it white. And there you have it. So we're going to bring our logo in front, definitely. And that makes sense. That looks good. That looks lovely. So it's now your work to fine tune the sizing. If you want it to be smaller, you want it to be bigger, anything you want to do. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I enjoyed it myself. And this is the class in our graphics masterclass series. So please try to learn and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you like what I did, so you get more content from me. Also, head over to our Instagram page and follow us so you don't miss out on any updates. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.